Greetings, everyone. First and foremost, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to the organizer, Center for Buddhist Studies, Kaladi, for inviting me to be a part of it. My name is Aswathy Anilkumar and I'm an English teacher. I'm currently working in Tashkent, Uzbekistan. I've been working here since 2023. So living here amidst the blend of ancient cultures and modern aspirations has given me a new appreciation for the hidden treasures of history, especially the story of Buddhism in this part of the world. Today, I invite you to travel with me through time, across deserts and mountains to explore the Buddhist legacy in the territories of the former Soviet Union. Although Buddhism may not be a major religion here today, its spirit still whispers through the stones, the sands, and the stories waiting to be rediscovered. Let's begin at the very beginning. So Buddhism first entered Central Asia during the Kushan Empire, roughly between the 1st and the 3rd century CE. So this was not a coincidence. It came at a time when the world was more connected than we often imagine through the great arteries of trade known as the Silk Roads. The Silk Roads were not just highways for silk and spices, they were highways for ideas, religions, and philosophies. The legend says that two merchants from Bactria, Trapuz and Bahalika, had the rare fortune to meet the Buddha himself. They became his first lay disciples and they returned to their homeland, bringing with them not just the material goods, but the seeds of a spiritual revolution. Later, under the reign of Kanishka the Great, Buddhism truly flourished in this region. Imagine the monks traveling through dusty trade routes, carrying scrolls of sutras, building monasteries in the middle of the desert, and carving out sacred spaces from mountains. So Buddhism here, it wasn't just a religion, it became a major part of the cultural identity. So fast forward a few centuries and we can see the footprints of Buddhism was etched in the southern region of Uzbekistan. So let me take you to a few of these marvelous sites. First we have the Kara Tepa. Kara Tepa is near Termez. Termez is the capital of Sarkantario region. It is in the southern part of Uzbekistan. So Kara Tepe is a breathtaking complex of cave monasteries. Here, monks once lived, they meditated and they thought. They were surrounded by stucco statues of the Buddha and soft murals on stone walls and the serene silence of devotion. Just a few kilometers away from Kara Tepa, we have Fayaz Tepa, it's another monastic complex where colorful frescoes still survive, telling the stories of faith, wisdom, and community life. Then there is Dalvarsin Tepa. It was once a thriving city of the Kushan Empire. So excavations here have revealed Buddhist temples filled with terracotta decorations, bronze statue, and inscriptions. Each a testament to a city where different cultures and beliefs lived side by side. Then we have the Surmala Stupa, towering like a sentinel over the plains. It is one of the oldest Buddhist structures in the region. Even today, though worn by time, it stands proudly like a silent guardian of a forgotten age. So when you walk among these ruins, it's not hard to imagine the bustling life of monks, scholars and travelers, each contributing to a vibrant spiritual culture. Speaking of which, the influence of Buddhism wasn't just visible in stone and architecture. It also deeply enriched the literary world of ancient Central Asia. Along the Silk Road, Buddhist monks played an important role as translators and scholars. They translated sacred texts such as Tripitakas into the local languages like Sogdian, Bactrian, and Tocharian. So these translations didn't just teach religion, they introduced new ideas about philosophy, ethics, governance, and compassion. In the great cities of Samarkand, Bukhara, and Mir, uh, the libraries and learning centers, they still preserve these manuscripts here. So stories, fables, and tales inspired by Buddhist teachings entered the folklore of Central Asia, blending into the local traditions. So Buddhist literature silently molded the moral and intellectual fabric of ancient Central Asia. Another fascinating chapter of Buddhist influence in Central Asia is seen in the art and iconography. See, Buddhist sculptures and paintings from this region have a unique style. They are a combination of three artistic traditions: the Indian, Persian, and the Greek traditions. So, this beautiful blend is often called Greco Buddhist art. For example, the statues found in Khara Thepa and Dalversin Thepa show the Buddha with a soft Hellenistic features. It has a curly hair, flowing robes, and the serene expressions. And the frescoes from Fayas Tepa depict scenes from Buddha's life in bright, lively colors. So these artworks were not merely decorations, they were visual teachings, ways for people, even the illiterate, to learn and connect with Buddhist philosophy. So through these sculptures and paintings, Buddhism reached hearts beyond words through form, color, and expression. Even today, many museums across Uzbekistan and Russia carefully preserve these ancient pieces, offering us glimpses into the spiritual soul of a bygone era. Of course, no culture remains untouched by change. By the 5th century, Buddhism in Central Asia began to decline. The arrival of the white Huns brought waves of destruction to many Buddhist sites. Later, the Islamic conquistors transformed the religious landscapes of Transoxiana. Gradually, Buddhist monasteries faded away, libraries were lost, and a new spiritual order took place. By the 13th century, Buddhism's physical presence had largely disappeared from Uzbekistan. Yet history is never truly erased. Echoes remain in ruins, in art, in hidden scripts, and in the very spirit of Central Asia's openness to wisdom and cultural exchange. Even today, there's a small Buddhist community, mainly ethnic Koreans, keeps the flame alive in Uzbekistan. They gather at Jaunsa temple. The word Jaunsa means compassion. The Jaunsa temple is located near the outskirts of Tashkent. It's a humble, peaceful space for prayer and meditation. It's managed by the Korea Buddhist Yogi order. It stands as a quiet testimony to the enduring power of faith, even in places where history was buried its real roots. If we look beyond Uzbekistan, we see the Buddhism spirit thrives elsewhere in the former Soviet Union. Let's start with Kalmykia. Kalmykia is in Russia. So this small republic is home to the largest Buddhist temple in Europe, the stunning golden abode of Buddha Sakyamuni. It was built in 2005. Kalmykians are deeply devoted to Tibetan Buddhism, and today they proudly celebrate their spiritual revival after decades of Soviet repression. Buryatia is another republic in Russia. It's near Lake Baikal. So Buddhism reached here in the 17th century. Here temples and spiritual centers flourish, keeping alive ancient rituals and monastic traditions that survived even the hardship of Soviet repression. Then there is Tuva, that's another Russian republic, where Buddhism beautifully blends with ancient shamanistic traditions, creating a colorful and unique spiritual life. And finally, in places like Ukraine, Belarus, and the Baltic states, small but strong Buddhist communities exist even today. They are often led by monks trained in India and Tibet. They keep the flame of Dharma alive even in distant lands. All of this shows us, even when faced with greatest challenges, the spirit of Buddhism has survived, adapted, and continues to inspire. The Buddhist legacy in Uzbekistan and throughout the former USSR territories tells us a story not just of religion, but of connection, creativity, and cultural exchange. It reminds us that the true spirituality is never confined by borders. Through preservation, education, and respect, we can continue to learn from these ancient echoes and find inspiration of peace, mindfulness, and compassion in our modern world. ഇന്ന് നമ്മൾ സെൻട്രൽ ഏഷ്യയിൽ, പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് ഉസ്ബെക്കിസ്ഥാനിൽ ബുദ്ധമതം എങ്ങനെ വളർന്നു എന്നും ഇന്നും അത് എങ്ങനെ നിലനിൽക്കുന്നു എന്നുള്ളതാണ് ചർച്ച ചെയ്തത്. ഇപ്പോൾ കുഷാൻ സാമ്രാജ്യത്തിന്റെ കാലഘട്ടത്തിൽ ഏതാണ്ട് ഒരു 1-ാം നൂറ്റാണ്ടിനും 3-ാം നൂറ്റാണ്ടിനും ഇടയിലുള്ള സമയത്താണ് ബുദ്ധമതം ഈ പ്രദേശങ്ങളിൽ വളരെയധികം ശക്തി പ്രാപിക്കുന്നതും നിലകൊള്ളുന്നതും എല്ലാം. ഇപ്പൊ സിൽക്ക് റൂട്ട് വഴിയാണ് അന്ന് ബുദ്ധമതം ഇവിടെ എത്തിയത്. ഒട്ടനവധി ബൗദ്ധമഠങ്ങളും സ്തൂപങ്ങളും എല്ലാം ഈ സമയത്ത് പടർത്തുയർത്തുന്നതായിട്ട് നമുക്ക് കാണാം. പിന്നീട് വൈറ്റ് ഹൂണകളുടെ ആക്രമണവും പിന്നീട് വന്ന ഇസ്ലാം മതത്തിന്റെ വ്യാപനവും മൂലം ബുദ്ധമതത്തിന് ബലക്കേടുകൾ സംഭവിക്കുകയും തുടർന്ന് പലയിടത്തു നിന്നും അത് തുടച്ചു നീക്കപ്പെടുകയും ചെയ്തു. എന്നാലും ഇന്നും നമ്മൾക്ക് സെൻട്രൽ ഏഷ്യയിലെ പല ഭാഗങ്ങളിലും ആ ബുദ്ധമതത്തിന്റെ പാരമ്പര്യം കാത്തു സൂക്ഷിക്കുന്നത് കാണാനായിട്ട് സാധിക്കും. ഈ പഴയ കാലത്തിന്റെ പാരമ്പര്യം പുരാവസ്തുക്കളിലൂടെയും ശില്പങ്ങളിലൂടെയും ഇന്നും ഈ സെൻട്രൽ ഏഷ്യൻ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഫോർമർ സോവിയറ്റ് യൂണിയൻ ടെറിട്ടറികളിൽ ഇന്നും നിലനിൽക്കുന്നത് നമുക്ക് കാണാൻ സാധിക്കും. ഇത് നമുക്കൊരു ഓർമ്മപ്പെടുത്തലാണ്. സമാധാനവും കരുണയും സ്നേഹവും എന്നതാണ് ബുദ്ധമതത്തിന്റെ ആന്തരിക ശക്തി എന്നുള്ള ഒരു ഓർമ്മപ്പെടുത്തലാണ്. താങ്ക് യു.